Now at 5, 3 people are dead after a house fire in Fairland, Oklahoma. Plus, PSU breaks ground on a multi-million-dollar expansion for the nursing program.
Ukraine is claiming a win, pushing back against Russian forces. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with the newest concerns as the Biden administration signs off on another round of military aid to support Ukraine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
3 people are dead after a house fire in northeastern Oklahoma. This is Koam News at 5. Fire happened early this morning at 21700 South 600 Road in Fairland. According to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearm, and Explosives, firefighters arrived to a fully engulfed fire. After extinguishing the blaze, crews found 3 bodies inside the home, 2 women and 1 man, all over the age of 40. ATF is investigating at the scene because the fire happened on Indian land, which is federal. No word yet on the cause of that fire. Kansas firefighters are responding to a large explosion and fire at a gas plant northwest of Wichita. It's at Haven Midstream in Haven, Kansas, formerly the Tenawa Haven, Kansas gas plant. The Highway Patrol has blocked off Highway K96 in that area. Souls Harbor in Joplin is looking to move into a new location. They've been considering a move for the last 6 years. The shelter is currently looking to obtain a new property that'll be bigger and will offer more services. Some of those services include extending help to those in their teens experiencing homelessness. Now they need to go through zoning with the city to reach their next steps.
The next steps would be going into the community and making sure that that neighborhood feels comfortable with us, that we can know them and who they are, and that they can know us and who we are and what we do. We're not your ordinary homeless shelter.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about a potential move for Souls Harbor and what it could look like. Pitt State today broke ground on a $7 million addition and improvement project to the university's simulation hospital. It's at McPherson Hall, home of the Irene Ransom Bradley School of Nursing. The project will include a roughly 10,000 square foot addition plus targeted renovations to the existing building. Among the highlights, control rooms, a debriefing room, a waiting area, and a study area.
It's very, very important for the learning and the adaptation of nursing. As we have seen over the past few years, we just have to go with the flow in this healthcare industry, and being able to just immerse yourself into a clinical experience using our clinical judgment skills and just overall prioritizing what's important to us in an assessment environment.
The new facility will accommodate 120 students, up from the current 90. Funding comes from private gifts. The Missouri House has voted that the local election should determine whether to ban transgender girls from competing in K-12 girls sports. The proposal was added as an amendment to an elections bill. Public school boards and administrators could call elections over whether to allow transgender girls to compete in all girls sports teams. Republican Representative Chuck Bass of Kansas City says the goal is, quote, to protect women's sports. Democrats in the Missouri House argue there's been no issues with transgender girls playing on K-12 sports teams in Missouri. Nick Kelly joins us now with a first look at the weather.
And it was quite the cold start this morning, Dow. In fact, a light freeze, if not a good frost for a lot of us. But fortunately, a lot of sunshine today propelled us back into the lower to middle 60s this afternoon. There is nothing to worry about on the radar network right now. But throughout the overnight, we are going to see some clouds building in as we keep an eye, not just upper wave coming out of the Rockies, but a couple of fronts that will sweep on through during the day tomorrow as we get the upcoming holiday weekend underway. In the short term, though, we're fine this evening. In fact, we're still mild. Lower to middle 60s overall. Let's say the average range between 62 and 67 degrees, especially out in Yates Center. And temperatures will not drop off a whole lot as we go throughout the course of the night. We'll fall through the 60s, 50s, upper 40s by midnight across the region, and warming up as we get tomorrow morning underway. But unfortunately, down rain chances in the forecast, including the holiday weekend. We'll break it all down here in a few.
See you then. Ukrainian officials say they've struck a Russian warship with missiles, while Russian authorities say it was damaged in a fire. Either way, it marks a blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin's military as it tries to refocus and centralize the devastating war in Ukraine. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
Ukraine says its forces hit the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet with anti-ship missiles south of Odessa. But Russia didn't acknowledge an attack, saying the warship called Moskva remained afloat after fire badly damaged the vessel and forced the entire crew to evacuate.
It's going to have an impact on their capabilities, certainly in the near term. Whether it has an impact on their naval capabilities in the long term is just unclear right now.
The U.S. and its allies believe Russia is preparing to escalate its attacks on eastern and southern Ukraine. Meanwhile, in the northern city of Chernihiv, workers cleared the rubble of what was once a stadium. Not far away, residents returned to their homes, finding them badly damaged or destroyed. As U.S. allies in Europe look for ways to reduce or cut their dependence on Russian energy, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he wants to direct supplies eastward to growing markets. On Thursday, President Biden was asked about reports his administration was considering sending a high-level official to visit Ukraine.
Will you send senior officials to Ukraine?
We're making that decision now. Thank you.
Who would you send?
What was the reason? Are you ready to go?
Are you?
Yeah.
The White House has not revealed whether the president himself would be going to Ukraine. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Now, although the Russian Ministry of Defense did not acknowledge an attack, it's now saying the warship caught fire and sank while being towed to a port during a storm. It's blaming the fire on the detonation of ammunition. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has begun busing Latin American migrants from the border to Washington, D.C. in protest of the Biden administration's border policies. The migrants are already in immigration proceedings and voluntarily traveled. The governor said his decision is in response to the president's decision to wind down Title 42 in late May. It's a pandemic-era health rule that allowed immigration officials to deny entry to most migrants, even those seeking asylum. A little bit later, some confusion in the race with Uncle Sam.
The deadline to file your taxes is just days away. I'm Elise Preston with more on why millions of Americans are waiting until the last minute.
But first, the latest on whether it's really helpful to take an aspirin a day. That's next in Health Watch. Adults who have a history of asthma or allergies may carry an increased risk of high blood pressure and developing coronary heart disease. That's from a study that's set to be presented to the American College of Cardiology. Based on the findings, researchers are urging clinicians to add a cardiovascular risk assessment for people with a history of allergies. More than 859,000 Americans die of heart attacks or strokes every year. For years, doctors have prescribed aspirin to help prevent a cardiovascular event in healthy people, but research has been mixed on the benefits. Well, now a study on the issue offers new insights. Could an aspirin a day keep a heart attack away? Cardiologists have prescribed aspirin to reduce the risk of a heart attack in healthy individuals for years. But recently, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force has proposed recommendations to limit daily aspirin use in this group. The panel said aspirin should only rarely be used to prevent heart attacks and strokes in people ages 40 to 70 who don't have heart disease or haven't had a cardiovascular event. They say the risks of aspirin in these patients often outweigh the benefits.
There is risk. Aspirin is associated with bleeding. That's oftentimes in the form of gastrointestinal bleeding.
Now a new review of 10 studies sheds more light on the matter. Investigators found aspirin produced a 13% reduction in cardiovascular disease, with similar benefits seen at older ages in each of the trials. The authors suggest that doctors make individual decisions about prescribing aspirin to healthy individuals on a case-by-case basis, based on benefit to risk, not age alone. Still, experts recommend people who've had heart disease or who've had a cardiovascular event still take a daily aspirin. Your best bet is to talk to your doctor to feel if a daily aspirin could help you. Other ways to reduce your risk of a heart attack include stopping smoking, daily exercise, weight loss, and the use of cholesterol-lowering or blood pressure drugs if needed. According to the American Heart Association, more than 80% of all cardiovascular events may be prevented by making lifestyle changes. Ward off the blues with a little workout. A study in JAMA Psychiatry looked at the dose-response relationship between physical activity and depression. Researchers found even lower levels of physical activity benefited mental health. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the Google plan that could create thousands of jobs.
Plus, we finally got out of the deep freeze this morning, but I'm watching thunderstorms in the forecast. Well, sure enough, we got out to quite a cold start this morning. A light freeze at the very least, but certainly a good frost during the morning hours. Then a lot of sunshine that we're still seeing plenty of from our live shot of indigo sky. Helped temperatures thankfully propel out of the lower to middle 30s this morning. In fact, we had to, if you remember, midnight highs in the upper 60s to near 70 the other day. We eventually gravitated back to 32 officially at Joplin Regional this morning, but not a bad rebound. At least 63 so far at Joplin Regional as far as the observed high this afternoon. And even though we kept things nice and quiet for today, watching several rain chances down the road, including a chance for some strong, possibly severe storms by this time tomorrow evening to start things out. Then I'll want to watch for maybe a lingering thunderstorm Saturday morning, and then returning rain chances, unfortunately, for a good part of Easter Sunday. And then sticking with Doug's pattern, another system by Tuesday and Wednesday. There will be some dry time in between, but definitely plan on rain chances in the forecast. In the meantime, though, can't deny, beautiful looking sky from 7th and Range Line, 63, and jumping a southwest wind at 18. Earlier we had gusts over 20 miles per hour, but we saw temperatures rebound as well thanks to the low humidity right now, sitting at 29%. Lower to middle 60s, 61 on the cooler end, if you want to call that cool, in Monette, to about 67 around Chanute, Yates Center, and Fredonia. Everyone else right in between the two. And eventually, after our mild start to the evening, we'll fall through the 50s late tonight, and then 47 by midnight, and that's as cool as everybody's going to get before we rise a little bit in response to some changing weather as we get our Good Friday tomorrow underway. Nothing out there right now, so definitely everything is good to go if you have any outdoor plans this evening. But we got a warm front well to the south, but this is going to race in first tomorrow before the cold front sweeps on through. Not only that, there's a little bit of upper level energy, coming out of Colorado, in addition to another low that will stick around for the coming weekend. In the short term, though, the storm chances that I'm watching for tomorrow evening and tomorrow night could be severe, especially in our far southern counties in Oklahoma and near the Missouri-Arkansas state line. I want to keep an eye on those storms between 5 o'clock Friday evening until about midnight as we go into Saturday. If anything were to go to severe, I'm really concerned about hail and wind, tornado threat. It's not zero, but it's not something I'm really concerned about, thankfully. Let's go through the rest of the future track here. We're quiet to start the overnight. Clouds eventually pick up overnight, but despite that, we're going to see temperatures back near 50 by the start of the morning. As the warm front comes through first, we'll see some scattered storms around lunchtime and to get the afternoon started. These will not be severe, but don't be surprised about some midday storms. And then you can see as we go into the evening, as the cold front's coming in, some more scattered storms that will go push on through. And then we'll start to at least end the severe threat by the time we go into Saturday. 50 in the morning, 63 by noon, highs around 71. So despite all the clouds and the rain chances on the way, we are going to have another mild day tomorrow. But with this first chance for rain alone, anything that can come on down could be ranging between half an inch, maybe an inch and a half, depending on how that heavy rain sets up. 61 on your Saturday, 55 is the best we can do considering how I think it will be cloudy during the day and periods of rain throughout much of Easter Sunday, unfortunately now, but we'll dry out for Monday before another shot for thunderstorms, maybe some strong storms by next Wednesday.
Certainly don't want the severe stuff, that's for sure. Thanks, Dave. Hey, when severe weather does strike, you're going to want to stay informed. You can do that by scanning this QR code right now. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page where your weather team is going to live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Coming up, navigating some confusion ahead of the tax filing deadline. First, though, we recognize a local World War II veteran. Richard Thurston served in the Pacific with the U.S. Army as part of the 307th Bombardment Group. His hometown, Fort Scott, Kansas. And we are proud to salute Private First Class Richard Thurston, a four-state hero. Watch, Elon Musk is looking to buy Twitter. The billionaire tech entrepreneur is offering about $43 billion for the social networking service and says he plans to turn it into a private company. The purchase offer comes just days after Musk revealed he owned more than 9% stake of the company. Google is going to invest $9.5 billion into offices and data centers in the U.S. this year. The move is expected to create at least 12,000 full-time jobs in several states by the end of 2022. The expansion comes as Google implements a hybrid work policy for its employees. The deadline to file your taxes is looming. Experts say things are going more smoothly with the IRS than in recent pandemic years, but an estimated 80 million people are still waiting until the last minute. As Elise Preston reports, many are stuck navigating the confusion.
Brooklyn mother of three, Makita Abraham, is down to the wire preparing her taxes.
How much do we get back for childcare? What don't we, what's out of our pocket? Like, what is the government doing for us? All right, girls.
Abraham and her husband had 3 children in 3 years and also run their own businesses, all factors affecting their tax filings.
A Jackson Hewitt survey conducted last month found 21% of respondents who waited to file are too confused about their personal tax situation.
Another 21% think they owe money, and 15% thought the deadline would be pushed back again.
I'm here to tell you that is not going to happen this year.
Mark Stieber is with tax preparation service Jackson Hewitt. He says while 2021 is the most complicated tax year he's seen in decades, refunds are up. And refund sizes are up.
3 out of 4 taxpayers are getting a tax refund, and that's very good news.
Stieber says there are a lot of benefits on the table, but navigating the complications may require help.
Child credit, dependent care credit, earned income credit, education credits, those are all big, all complicated, all very pro-taxpayer, but they're not automatic check a box and get a big check.
There are steps all taxpayers can take to make the process smoother. Be accurate. Don't guess, estimate, or expect the IRS to fix errors. File electronically and electronically deposit your tax refund. Abraham says her family is actually still waiting on last year's returns, but she's already looking to change her approach in the future.
As soon as we get our W-2s, we are going to file.
This year, taxpayers have until Monday, April 18th to get it together. Elise Preston, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
Experts say next year could be chaotic because a lot of the 2021 rules are not in place for 2022, and taxpayers may have sticker shock on their refunds. The results are in for Fortune's best companies to work for. This year, Cisco claimed the top spot, followed by Hilton and supermarket chain Wegmans. Accenture and American Express also made the top 10. Fortune says the list highlighted companies that prioritize employee well-being and fostered cultures of empathy and inclusion. A lot of children are less likely to see farm animals as food. Analysts studied the data provided by more than 400 study participants ranging in age from 9 to 59. Researchers found children and teens valued treatment of animals like cows, pigs, and chickens more than their potential worth for food. Wilbur, some pig, not bacon. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, with millions of Americans priced out of the market, are 3D printed homes the answer to affordable housing? Then on KOAM News at 6, reporter Bronte Sorotsky has more about what a potential move for Souls Harbor could look like. Plus, a prosthetic leg lost in an Oklahoma lake is returned to the owner 6 months later. And a retirement party for the Joplin Airport manager. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Some rain chances in the days ahead, Nick.
At least we're dry for this evening, Dal. That's always a good thing. You have any outdoor plans tonight? There is an alert day up for Friday, but I put that in because of the thunderstorm chances tomorrow evening and night. They could be strong and severe with mainly hail and wind being the issues, but there could still be some storms possible by noon tomorrow. Still mild, though, with highs near 71. I do have some morning rain chances on Saturday, but unfortunately, Dow 55, chilly Easter Sunday with periods of rain wanting to stick around.
Yeah, that's bad news for people planning Easter egg hunts outdoors.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.